further ado, you all know a very special guest, Miguel Flores from Mexico City, professor of English. I always like to have him here because he speaks from the mind, he speaks from the heart, and he got so much similar energy with me. I've got a little connection with me because when I was years, there was a time where I had a short period of time when I was teaching in the Polytechnic. I had a supervisor, Carlos. Carlos was my reporting officer. He overlooks my teaching. He will give me criticism and he will observe my class in the Polytechnic when I was teaching entrepreneurship and business. And Carlos was from Mexico, and everyone loves him because he has a loud voice and he will say hi to the other end of the building. People will wave to him.
That.
He's the only person like in the whole school, and I'm talking about school as in like it's different schools. There are schools of engineering, school of the media, hospitality, school of food and cooking, whatever, and school of business. But he's able to like meet people and say hi, 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 hi. Everybody will like wave to him from one end of the building to the other end. He will say like hi. So when I first meet him,
why should be waiting?
Wow.
Why should wait for that?
That is a testimony of a Mexican, right, Carlos? No, Carlos, my friend, and now I've got Miguel, my friend.
That's right, girl. That's right.
Tell us about you, a little bit about being a Mexican, being in Mexico City, to our guests. Before we go into serious topics about the pandemic, give us a little bit of what's happening and tell us about who is Miguel Flores.
Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of people on my job, or there's a lot of people or on the sector that I work that would say that I'm not exactly the orthodox teacher. I don't like being the orthodox teacher. I prefer to do things in that. Yeah, it's more like I don't like being the classic teacher, especially with something about English. I always tell my students, because I have this philosophy.
Yeah.
English is not a knowledge itself, it's an ability, because at the end of the day, it's communication, right?
Yeah.
And you see me talking this way, you see me you listen to me and you say, well, this guy has the energy and stuff. Well, I have the energy because that's the way I am, Besides, in Mexico, it's a little difficult not to have that energy, Sometimes you feel like you're here to party.
It's very difficult not to have the energy.
It's very difficult not to say, well, not today. No. You can't. I mean, it's impossible, And most importantly, that's something that you have to reflect, Even though you're speaking whatever language you're learning or you're studying.
Yeah.
I always tell my people, hey, don't worry about anything. Just say it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love to do when I am teaching.
Yeah.
Who cares if you make a mistake? The worst thing that can happen is that I can help you out correcting it. I correct you. Okay, I tell you, let's do it in a different way. How about if we approach it this way?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, go ahead, boy. Go ahead. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that I correct you again.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want you to do it right. Yeah. And I don't want you to be embarrassed, because sometimes, let me tell you something, there's a lot of people out there in the world that, sorry. Oh my God. Sorry. There's some allergies here, but well, anyway. There's a lot of people that is really scared because they say, what if I made a mistake? Well, bro, you're going to make mistakes. You better deal with it because nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Nobody's perfect. So this is one of the things that I love doing, especially with something as delicate as English, Don't worry about things. Who cares if you make a mistake? Nobody's perfect here.
Yeah. Can I ask as a teacher right now, as a professor, and then you've got your students, your classes, tell us what kind of stress or class management pressure, class as in online class management pressure, do you have that, as this prolonged pandemic makes students go in front of the
I guess,
the laptop?
I guess that considering that, I guess that the biggest stress that most of my students have
Yeah.
because of the pandemic is because still there are people that are, kind of eager to accept that the world's going to be different. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to remember that the other day. That's what I said. If you don't embrace this, if you don't involve, you're basically dead. But there's a lot of people out there that are like trying to do it. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I gotta say it's not an easy thing to do, but I don't say it's an impossible thing either. Sometimes it's just a matter of, dude, just the world is not gonna move around you. You're not gonna move around the world. So who cares about the rest? Honestly, who
Mm.
cares about it? Nobody gives a damn about it. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
I,
So Miguel,
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
what's happening now in Mexico?
mhm.
In many countries, like in Singapore, our government is actually rolling out vaccination. It has stopped for a while because of the festive season of the uh, New Year
Yeah,
here, the
the new year,
New
right?
Year. Yeah, and then it stopped for a while, and now it's going to continue to vaccinate the old folks. The ministers have been vaccinated, and they want to. It's not compulsory in Singapore, but they're urging everyone to be vaccinated. But they did say if they run out of vaccine, and by the time you want to be vaccinated, and you did not vaccinate yourself, you try to avoid it. By the time you want it, they may not have a vaccine for you. So this is the
Well,
this is the
that,
threat.
that's that.
This is
Well, I
the
have a
threat
couple of
that
things to say
is
about that.
being.
Well,
Yeah. What do you think?
I would say, government people, are you dumb? What the hell's wrong with you, man? That's your job. Okay, you didn't want the private initiative to help you out. Okay, you better have for everybody, man. You have no
Yeah.
excuse.
Mm,
That's exactly what's happening here in Mexico.
yeah.
Finally, we were able to reach some of the vaccines that
Mm,
there are out there in the world.
mm.
Probably, and I am pretty sure about it, I will not be vaccinated until July, August.
How do
August.
you know? Can you tell us how does it work in your country that you know that you are going to be vaccinated, or you know your category? What kind of communication or schedule are you given?
First of all, here in Mexico, there is something that there's like this sort of gazette. They call it Diario
Gazette.
Oficial de la Federación, and basically the job for that thing is to tell the people, okay, this is what the government is doing. This is the way the government is doing it. Nobody
Mm.
pays attention to it, so everybody's listening to the news.
Nobody pays attention.
No, really. Honestly, it's like, yes, 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 yes. Don't worry, we got your special. Yes, you are very special. Yes, yes, you do. Oh, yes. Who is the big boy? Who is the big boy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's the way we treat them because we understand that the government, for the last 100 years,
Yeah.
our government, yes, they say there is a democracy and stuff. People is choosing whoever is representing, blah, 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 blah. But let's be honest. I mean, if it was true, Mexico would be a powerhouse economy right now. But it's not.
It's just
But
like
well,
that.
yeah. But actually, there's a couple of things out there that you can say, well, the people is good. Of course, it's not that I want to say it as an excuse, and I'm not saying here that our government is making everything wrong. It's just that for some of the important things, you feel like they are not really helping you out the way you think you would. I understand that sometimes this could be a little bit bigger than they expected.
Yeah.
This is a lot bigger than a lot of people expected in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I see how things are according to the news, for example, in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Europe, for God's sake. You would
Yeah.
never imagine in
Yeah.
countries like the Great Britain, Spain, Italy, France, uh, Germany, uh, a lot of countries in Europe where they show that life is good and everything can be
Mm,
right and stuff.
mm,
But in reality, you see there's an increase in that percentage in this country. There's an increase of that percentage in this country. And let me tell you something, here in Mexico, this is going to be hard. There's a lot of people going down. It's just that the government is
Going
not going
down.
to tell you.
When you say people are going down, you mean economically, life standard going
Sorry,
down. What do you mean by going down?
Let me say it. The amount of diseases that we have here in Mexico is way bigger than what the Mexican government is telling us. They don't want to give us the real number because they're afraid of a massive chaos or something. That's what the situation is. I have a friend that is working right now in a public hospital. Big shout out to you, bro. And he's telling me, man, you have no idea. The health minister is ordered to say, hey, give me a small number. A number to say, okay, we're controlling. Okay, this is an urgent situation, but we are in control. We got this. But every time we listen to them, I mean, we're like,
okay, can I Miguel, can I interject? I just want to let all the listeners and the viewers know, and including any government officials that's tuning in, talk about life and myself. The caveat is I've got no control over any of the comments made by my guests, and I'm non-political. This is not a political show, but you know, it's something that they want to let the world know. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hold no responsibility, and I do not endorse any political speech in my podcast or my YouTube channel. So, with that, Miguel, you are free to go.
If you have a problem with that, hey, I'm right here. I'm waiting for you guys. Mexico City is right here waiting for you, ass.
Fly over to Mexico.
Hey, you have to travel all the way to the other side of the world. Hey, there's an entire ocean between us, so I dare you. To leave my friend Mickey alone.
Not only one entire ocean, I think you're gonna cross a couple of oceans. I think you gotta cross a couple of oceans, right? You can look at the map.
Yes, you're right.
Continue about your conversations about, like, you know, yeah, I'm going to bring you back. Okay. Go a little bit slower, because like, I think you're being too fast for me. You talked about the Gazette, the letter that comes out from the government to tell everyone. Yeah,
all the information about their activities, their adjustments in constitution and laws in the states and whatever, they come in this Gazette. They have to do it digitally because there was very little people paying attention to it. Only lawyers watch it.
Nobody pays attention. Okay.
Yeah, it feels like, yeah.
But isn't it good if nobody pays attention? They can do whatever they want.
You know, and that's one of the biggest problems. It's just that, imagine that for 100 years.
Yeah.
100 years. Or maybe a little bit more. Our government has said, we're going to do this, and that. And when you see them in action, none of the promises that they made are there. After 100 years, are you honestly going to believe them? I won't. I wouldn't. It's like, for example, you have a date, you have a partner, boyfriend, or whatever. And he keeps cheating on you. He keeps cheating on you all the time. But you are still in there because, well, there is no other option. He's very kind.
There's no other option.
Family. He has the money. He has friends and everything around the world, blah, 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 blah. So you're like, well.
Because there's no other boyfriend around.
Yes, exactly. That's the only thing that you have.
That's the only thing you have.
You honestly would say, I would rather be alone. But I can't. I have to stay with this fool.
Yeah.
That's an easy detail. That's a situation that we have right there.
You have this Gazette that nobody reads.
First of all, but that's because, well, they say we're going to do this, and that. And there's a lot of people that, unfortunately, we don't have the culture of trying to learn a little bit more. There's a lot of people out there that would say, well, if they do whatever the hell they want, what can I do? there's a lot of people out there, and you can, in other countries, they would tell you,
Mm.
don't vote for the party. Don't
Mm.
vote for them. Well, the other parties are the same. Oh. So basically, that's why I said, this is something that is specifically for Latin America, because the economies in Latin America are worse than the Mexican. I mean, we have a good economy, let's be honest, but I
Yeah.
cannot speak for the people in other parts of the continent here in America.
Yeah.
Uh, don't depend on the government. Don't wait for the government to help you out. You have to do it on your own. It's harder. Yes, it is. But it's better because you feel free. That's
Mm.
that's that's the real freedom, not depending on the government to do anything. I mean, okay, I understand that the government must put regulations so everybody
Mm.
can have a fair participation. It has to be fair for everybody. That's right. Okay, we got this. But waiting for the government to give you a special help just because you are not able to find a job after 6 months, that's too much. That's not their obligation.
So with
Obligation.
regarding this vaccination, is this like what you're saying? The promises, and you're like what you say. Oh, it's the boyfriend that keep telling you this, but it's turning out the other way. Is this happening with the vaccination program?
Kind of.
Tell us.
Because here in Mexico they say we're reaching 100,000 vaccines, and we're like, dude,
In
we're
the whole
100
of Mexico.
million.
In the whole of
Yes,
Mexico.
and it's coming like, okay, we got some of this from Argentina, from the AstraZeneca Live in Argentina. We had this from Russia. We have this
Yeah.
vaccine from blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's why they're also taking their time to actually do it. First of all, they said, we're going to go first with vulnerable population.
Yeah.
Vulnerable population,
Vulnerable population.
elder people,
Elder
60,
people.
65 years old or
Yeah.
above. Those are
Yeah.
going to be the first.
Yeah.
We don't know about side effects because the Mexican person has a weird DNA.
Yeah.
I don't know
Why?
how. I don't know why. It's just, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just that sometimes we check some things that are coming from other countries and stuff.
Mm.
But for some reason, I always try to figure out, and I don't understand.
That's why the Mexican got so much energy. That special DNA.
Probably, probably. I mean, we're supposed to be proud of that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't help us outside of the country.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a detail.
So now you're saying that the government has 100,000 of the vaccines arrived.
Oh, that was like the first time they said we have a batch. Oh, okay, good. Yes, we have received a bunch of batches with a big number. I guess they said, okay, now we're gonna be ready. The registration, because you have to register yourself in the website from the government, and it was very difficult because let's put it this way: you have one server, you have only one system that is, is operating according to the amount of people that they normally receive. They don't receive a lot.
But now they just
So
jump
imagine
in.
the traffic. Imagine the traffic that was there.
Imagine the traffic. You crash.
Yeah, it crashed a couple of times. And I remember I have a neighbor right here. She had to register. I helped her out because she said, it's just that I don't understand how to register. Can you help me out? Yes, don't worry. Give me a second. And I was checking in. I was in my computer. We did it here on my laptop. Now, okay, I'm gonna print this for you. I already made the form, but I remember it took us like 5 hours.
Just to get it registered online.
Yeah, why? Because the system was crashing constantly.
Oh.
I remember I have to cancel a couple of classes because I was just not moving forward. There was a moment where imagine everything going through a funnel. You have an aisle where you can only fit 2 people. But 20 people want to go through that aisle. It's not gonna be fast. But well, okay, we have the registration. Some of the old folks are already vaccinated, Okay, we have it. We have that. Okay.
Mm.
Uh, and that actually has become some sort of hope for people here in Mexico because, well, everybody believes, well, a big percentage of the country believes once you have the vaccine, everything's going to be back to normal.
Mm.
I wouldn't be so sure about it,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
For example, home
Oh no.
office,
Yeah, because you don't
the
know.
business selling their stuff online, for example, Amazon.
Yeah.
There is a website here in Mexico called Mercado Libre that is kind of the same,
Yeah.
but live with Latin American products.
Yeah.
And yes, you are gonna be more careful about social distancing. There's a couple of things that are gonna change for good. I mean, and there's a bunch of people that even though there is no pandemic, they're still gonna work their mask because you
Mm.
never know. That's pretty much the stuff. But well, I mean,
But 100,000, you can't actually get and get anywhere. I mean, you're talking about a huge country, and even in a city, like in Singapore, it's a very small city. The prime minister has said that they have actually vaccinated 250,000 people already, either one dose or two dose of the
mhm.
vaccine. But this is a really small city. But Mexico is a huge, huge country. Um, you know, 100,000 is not going to go anywhere.
Ah,
It is might as well says nothing.
no, no, no. What I'm saying here is that this was the first number when we heard we
For the
received
first
the
number,
first batch. Yes, the first package of vaccines.
the first
Yes, how
package.
many are those? 100,000.
Yeah,
I remember that the press conference, all the people from the media were like this.
one
The
hundred
camera
thousand.
just the camera just pointed at them. Boom.
What's the population of Mexico? Can you tell the listeners and the viewers?
Well, it's quite diverse.
200 million. The
We have a lot of
population.
things here. I'm sorry.
The population is it 200 million in
No, 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 no,
Mexico?
no. 100 in Mexico, 140, 150.
140 million. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah,
a
that's pretty much.
lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of people. Let me tell you.
Singapore has got 7 million.
Oh boy, that's not even half of Mexico City.
Yeah, that's why I'm just telling you. When you have 100,000 vaccine, even for the first batch, I mean, where is it going to go?
Oh boy, well, you can imagine.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
so
imagine.
you were talking about this 5 hour application online because the system keep crashing. Um, do you think there's another way that can be done?
Yeah, I saw that the other day. I believe we talked about it. The private initiative in the United States are
Yeah,
helping a lot. They are helping a lot
yeah,
in,
yeah,
you know, providing the vaccines for the people.
yeah.
I um I believe that the government cannot do everything on their own.
Yeah,
They want to do it on their own because they want to make everything political. At the end of the day,
yeah.
when it comes the presidential election, they're gonna say, "Hey, we give you the vaccines, bro. We give you the vaccines." Yeah, but not because we let us do it on our own. And I see that, for example, in the United States right now, thank God there is a change of government.
Mm.
You
The
see different
Biden
things.
administration. Yeah,
Yeah, they said, go for it, man. Or even before that, when it was still the Trump administration, the private initiative said, okay, you know what? Screw this. We're not going to wait for him.
yeah.
If we wait for him, there's going to be a bunch of dead people right here. And we don't want that. Definitely, we don't want that.
Mm.
So they took the matters on their own.
Mm.
And that's the thing. I mean, okay, we need a little economic support from big companies or big enterprises, big businessmen. Yes, we do. But it doesn't mean that we cannot, organize or, contact directly to the labs. Hey, I want a private batch. I don't want to sell it because I am going to share it to the people that is not able to do it on other resources, or they just can't wait for the government to do it on their own. You know, and that's the thing. That's the most important thing. I believe that if we are able to make sure, and I am very sure about this, if we're able to make sure that we can help, the government is going to say, oh, finally, they gave us a break. But they don't want to do it because when it's elections time, they said, hey, you remember that we did it? You remember that we were here for you? It was a little rough, but we were here.
Okay, you're saying that it became like a political report card that they have achieved something to remind the people.
It's not something that I want to remember all the time. I don't like remembering all the time. But sometimes they don't give you any other choice.
Yeah.
Right now, I want to give a big shout out to the people that is doing things on their own. You know, entrepreneurs.
Interpreters. Why?
Right now, it has become a necessity.
Tell us why.
Yeah. It has become a necessity. There's a lot of big companies that cannot operate because the pandemic destroyed completely their operations, or at least it is one of the biggest obstacles that they have seen. For example, a company that is dedicated to import products from other countries.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to go really far. We have the United States right across the border. So there's a big opportunity to import a lot of goods from the United States. Well, guess what? Now with the pandemic, there are more controls, there are more delays, there is a bigger demand of products, and they take too long, or they take longer than expected to reach Mexico. Plus, well, that's another thing. The way things are distributed here in Mexico, well, doesn't help anybody. But well, that's a different story. But at the end of the day, these products were already worn out. You know, they stop working. They don't have any more future life. They don't work anymore because it took too long to reach Mexico. And it's just across the border.
Can I just ask, no, when they reach Mexico and Mexico go over there, because there is still the exchange of goods, right?
Yeah, there is. There is. It takes longer, but there is.
When people cross over, for example, people cross over, the American crossover or the Mexican crossover, do they get tested?
They have to.
How? Can you do you have any idea how did they
I don't remember what's the name of it. PCR, PVRs. What is the name of this?
There are different types of tests. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to make a test at least with 12.
PCR.
That one.
The fastest one. But which is not totally accurate, but at least they give you some kind of like 8% accuracy.
That
the PCR,
you have to present that test that you were negative, and you were in quarantine for 14 days, for 2 weeks.
I see.
And if you don't have any evidence of that, you're not able to go into the United States. If you can present those, that's a different story. Okay. Because there's a lot of
okay, just a minute. Make it slower because you're very fast. Let's say you're a truck driver, right?
I'm sorry. I'm just trying
to, No, because I just want to imagine. No, it's good. Because I'm a good student. I'm a good student. I always want to make sure that I understand the teacher correctly. Okay. I'm a truck driver.
Because that's a good thing. I'm weird, so that's a good thing. Okay. So basically,
I'm a truck driver from Mexico, because America, they demand your goods, right? Because you know America has got a higher exchange rate. You want the American dollar. You kind of drive your truck with your food, your fruits, the avocados, right?
There's a lot of things that actually. Let me tell you something.
Things that you're gonna like drive there. So you're saying that the truck driver with a load of truck, they will drive. That's how I imagine. Maybe in the movies, they cross over to the border, and at the border they check. You have this kind of like a report that you already have a test that is negative, the PCR test, and then you go into quarantine after delivering the food. I mean, do you know how it works?
Actually, it works a little different.
Tell us.
You have to be in quarantine before you get into the
Oh,
border.
then what? Okay, you have to be quarantined before. Okay,
Because
then who's
basically
gonna check? Who's gonna check whether you're being quarantined?
that's why they have the VCR, and they have also one of these things or tools. They check your temperature like in minutes. They also check that you don't even have an allergy. Basically, you have to be 100% healthy if you want to go into the United States. They have, I believe, doctors that are checking there.
Okay, that means in
basically,
Mexico, you have to stay in for 2 weeks, have your progressive PCR test, maybe a couple of times during the 2-week quarantine to show that you have got this test 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then you're allowed to drive to America. So what happens at the border? They check that you have the kind of like a passport of a test. Am I right?
well, it's not really like that. It's basically when you go through the United States, you have to present your visa. No, and yes, yeah, they call it visa here, and which is your special permission from the government. Because one
Yep.
thing is that you have a passport,
Mm.
and another completely different is that you have
The
an
paper.
additional permission. You
Okay.
know,
Admit
from
permission. Okay.
from the government of the United States to access to their country. That's a different story.
Okay.
You must have those. If you don't have
Okay.
those, I'm sorry, boy, but even though you have the PCR, this test, you're good. The doctors clear you and everything. You don't have the papers. I'm sorry, man. You cannot get into the United States. There's a bunch of things here. I mean, the legal controls to access the United States are very difficult for us the Mexicans, because they don't make the same treatment for everybody, as far as I know. And well, there's very little we can do about it. Honestly, I mean, it's not like we can just say, "Hey, let me in. I'm Mexican." Yeah, you're right, man. Go into the embassy and see if you can get the permission of going on. Oh crap! And it's a process of
Very
sometimes
difficult process.
sometimes it can be 1 month. Sometimes it can be longer. Right now, it's extremely difficult because of the pandemic, and because well, Mexico is not exactly one of the countries that is handling things well.
Yeah.
For example,
Okay.
there's a bunch of countries that even though we have documentation, we have
Yeah.
permissions and everything, they don't allow us to go in. For example, I was checking the other day, Japan.
Yeah.
They don't
Japan.
let anybody from Mexico and other countries let in. No, that's true.
They're very strict with many countries. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it has been frustrating because they have business. Forget about vacations or holidays. Okay, dude, it's a pandemic. That's not going to happen. But business, that's the thing. There's a lot of products that come from Mexico to the world. And because of the way the pandemic has been treated here in Mexico, first of all, by the government, and second, by a percentage of the population that just don't care.
Yeah.
That's true. Don't care about it.
Yeah.
Well, the people that cares about it has to suffer the consequence as well.
And your president actually was tested positive like 2 weeks ago. So has he recovered?
That's what he said.
So he said he recovered.
Yeah, but he's doing his morning press conference, so I assume he's okay now. He's clear. But of course, all of the media is just a lot far away from him right now.
Because even if you are actually cleared and he recovered from it, he's tested negative, he's also a person who can spread the virus up to 21 days. That's something that I read.
The thing is that he doesn't understand. He's showing himself in public without the mask.
Yeah.
He's the president of the country. He has
goes
to
without the mask.
Example.
Even he's spreading the virus because people who already recovered, they're still spreading the virus.
Yeah.
Up to between 14 to 21 days. Yeah.
But let me tell you something. There's another situation here. Because of the people that don't care in Mexico, There's also another group of people that are taking care of themselves the best they can.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need a blink of your eyes or something so small to get caught off guard. You know, sometimes it catches you without you even noticing.
Yeah.
This last week was, I believe, one of the heaviest ones.
Yeah.
Because I have a very good friend. Big shout out to you, my man. Lalo, I'm right here with you, bro.
Yeah.
He lost his dad last week because of COVID. But
Tell
that was
us,
one of
your friend's father.
Yeah,
He died of
passed
COVID
away.
last week.
All the family was positive on COVID, but his dad was the only person in the hospital.
So everyone in the family was positive, your friend, including your friend who you just shout out. And the father went to the hospital. Tell us the situation.
He's already dead.
Wow, I'm sorry.
The rest of them are okay. They're in quarantine. They're in a complete lockdown because, well, that's a procedure. And that's one of the kids that I heard. That's one.
He's your friend. I mean, it must have been so hard for them emotionally and mentally to be going through that. There's so much anxiety, anxiousness, and now grief about the situation.
He's dealing it like a champ.
Wow.
He is dealing it like a champ because right now he understands that he's gonna be the moral support of the family, right? And sometimes, okay, it's not like he really wanted that role.
Yeah.
But he stepped up and he said, you know what? I'll take care of you guys.
Yeah.
I got this covered. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're gonna be fine. Trust me, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And it has been quite an inspiration for all of us here, all of his friends. We want to help him out the best we can. Probably we're not able to do it the best way we want to or we would like to. But you know, I guess it's part of the Mexican.
Yeah.
You know,
and the Mexican spirit, the strength is in the spirit.
Yes, part of our spirit is to say, okay, we're facing adversity. Sometimes it's really tough. I gotta say, it's really tough. But one of the things that we're able to say is, you take a deep breath, think for 2 or 3 seconds, and you say, you know what? We got this. We're gonna be just fine. We're moving on. And we're gonna carry on with our lives.
It must be so tough that the whole family positive and the dad has to sacrifice himself. I mean, and this happened just like very fast.
Yes, because that was last week. A couple of weeks before, he said, hey guys, guess what? I tested positive. My wife tested positive. My parents tested positive. But we're going to be fine. We're already in quarantine. We're locked down. The only way I'm going to be able to see you guys is, for example, on Zoom. Okay, got it.
Okay.
And 1 week later, guys, this is what happened. My dad, unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. And we were like, oh, shit.
I'm sorry.
Yes, and the rest of his family is fine, but I mean, it's very hard to overcome one of these.
This is so
That's why I want to say a big shout out to you, man.
This is so real.
You're a warrior. Lalo, you're a warrior, man. You're a warrior. You're a true warrior. You're an inspiration. And well, that's one of the things that happened. But that's, you know what, that is the worst part. They were taking care of themselves. They were actually, you know, wearing the mask, shields, those plastic shields, gloves, hand sanitizer, wash your hands when you got home, clean everything right after you leave. You said everything. They were doing everything right. It was just a blink of an eye. Sometimes we only need a little fraction of second that maybe you, for some reason, you put your guard down and boom, you get it.
Yeah.
Right? I know that it was a complete accident.
Yeah.
And you know what is the worst part? There's also more. Let me tell you. That is not the only case that I heard in the week.
Tell us more. Tell us what happened.
I heard other 10 cases from one of my students. A friend of him passed away of COVID. For example, there's a sector of American football in Mexico.
Yes.
Of people who played American football before. I see Facebook. Today we have to report and we have to say we're sorry for the loss of blah 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 blah
Many
blah.
people.
One person a day. One person a day.
One person a day.
Yes, and it was
and they're supposed to be strong and healthy, right?
Nobody. Let me tell you something. You can imagine. Okay, they played American football. Yes, they were like 45, 50 years old.
Yeah.
But still. But you also hear of people. I have a neighbor. Mm-hmm. He was, making these passing rites or rituals, I don't know how to call it, of one of his nephews. His nephew was 15 years old.
15.
He was a kid. He was just a small kid.
You mean he was the boy 15 was tested positive and
he passed away in a week. 15. He was just a boy. He was just, he was very 6 months ago. He was telling me, dude, I'm very happy because, okay, yes, the pandemic is on right now, but I'm going to make my exam and I'm going to get into the high school that I want. And after that, I'm going to the college that I want here in Mexico. Hey, good for you, man. If you need a hand, you better let me know because I have a course for you. Yeah, man, don't worry. I will call you out. 6 months later, his uncle approaches me. Oh, I just want to invite you to his Rosario. That's one of the things we do here. Okay. It's like we call it Rosario. It's a Catholic tradition about when a person passes away, you're praying for 7 days for his soul to reach heaven. That's what I understand. I'm not a Catholic person, but I need to know these things. I live in a Catholic society, so for me, it's like, okay, general culture. I have to know it. So they did it, and I asked him, who passed away? My nephew.
13 years old, 15 years old.
I was shocked. Yeah. And that was only the last week. All of these people that I tell you, that was last week.
That was only last week. Oh my God.
And that's what I say, dude. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to be careful. Don't listen a lot to the government. At least here, the one in Mexico is not doing a good job, honestly.
So can I ask you, on the local level, is there any data that the hospital is tracking, or you're saying that even on the local level, these numbers are not reliable at all because they want to report the smallest number?
Basically, the situation is, when you have somebody that works in a public hospital, the first thing that they tell you is, where is your mask? Where is your shield?
Yeah.
Where is your sanitizer? Dude, the hospitals are full.
Yeah.
We're not going to receive you, man. Not because we don't want to. We don't have space. Yeah. Period. We don't have the personnel. Period. Yeah. And when we have a doctor here, the other day I met him on the supermarket. We were talking, and he said, dude, it's a good thing that you're wearing your mask and you're coming to the supermarket alone. You have no idea. But why? I mean, the news says that there is only this number. Oh, bro. That's not even 10% of the real number. And I was like, and there was a bunch of people around us listening to the conversation. And I said, okay, so not even 10%. Let me see if my math is right. They said 120,000 diseases, right?
Yeah.
Multiply that for 11, multiply it past 12, 13, something like that. That's a real number.
So you're talking about over 1 million of people actually have died from the Um,
And I believe that's because of the two things that I have mentioned all this time.
mm,
One, there is a big percentage of people that is not going to take care of themselves unless something drastic happens to them.
yeah,
Two,
yeah,
this is way above the government. This is way beyond the government. This is
yeah.
beyond their capacity.
Beyond the
Okay,
capacity. Yeah,
it is a big country.
yeah. It's a
150
big country.
million people. That's a lot of people. I
Yeah,
mean, no disrespect, of course, no disrespect, but for example, Singapore, you only have 7 million. 7 million is just a small percentage of Mexico City.
yeah,
And it's one city.
yeah,
Imagine. I mean, I'm not saying that your case is slow, is lower or not important. No, of course, everybody's
yeah,
important here. But imagine what is the capacity that you must have in order to attack this thing. It's one of the hard things that sometimes you have to control. It's one of the things that you say, "Oh my God, what the hell's going on?" So basically, it's a mix of everything. I cannot blame the government entirely because I can. That would be selfish. Okay, sometimes I'll let it go first because I need to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to use your show as a stress relief.
No, good. I would like this to be your therapy session. I'm doing something good.
And you're not charging me. Oh my God, that is the
I
best.
would like that. I would like to do something good for the world. People who are listening in and you who are talking that, get it off your head. Please tell me
Yeah, I
if
don't
we could
know.
do something good to you.
Let me
Tell
tell you
us.
something. Let me
Yeah,
tell you something. Right now, I feel like a lot of pressure came in, but that's because of, well, what we are watching it. I mean, I just stopped watching the news.
yeah. We stop
I
watching
stopped
the
watching
news.
the news
Yeah,
because I know, at least here in Mexico, that there's a big percentage
yeah,
of the news companies, business, or broadcast channels, shows, whatever you want to call it. I don't care.
yeah, yeah.
That they are gonna say what the government is telling them to say. And I
Yes,
am pretty sure that this is not the only country that actually makes that,
true.
unfortunately. But well, okay, there's very little we can do about it. We have to
Yeah,
live. We have to live with it. We
yeah,
have to overcome that
yeah.
and do the best we can in our communities. The other day, I was watching your show, for example, with Lamar Wallace and Mrs. Anita, and I was thinking they really care about their community.
Mhm.
We need more examples like that here in Mexico. Honestly,
Yeah.
because they were saying,
Hats
okay, we
off to
understand that it's
them.
wrong. Yes, of course. Big shout out to you guys. I really admire you. I mean,
Wonderful.
I
You
that
are,
made me
you
so
are,
smart.
yes, and exactly, you're right. There are people who are really having the heart for their own people and they're doing something for their own people
Exactly.
within their
And
own community.
exactly. That's the part that I really like about them because they are not putting excuses.
Yeah.
Maybe it sounds like I am giving a lot of excuses. Believe me,
Well,
if I listen to myself, I would say, dude, shut up and do something, man. Honestly, I would say that to myself. I mean, it's
you
like I'm
you
looking
you
at
helped your neighbor for 5 hours.
imagine. Imagine, that's a long
Wow,
time.
there's a lot of time.
Yes, hey, bro,
Yeah,
chill out, man. Chill out.
yeah.
There's still work to do. Yes, I know. I just want to get it out. Yeah, don't worry, man. Don't worry. Did you let it out already? Yeah, I feel you sure. You sure you let it
Let it
out?
out now.
Yeah, don't worry. I
Miguel, let
got it.
it out now.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes it's kind of frustrating. But on the other hand, I also have to be thankful because despite everything, we're here. You know, we are able to say we got this. We are we are okay. Uh, of course, I cannot say that for 100% of the people here, unfortunately. But the ones that are here, we must continue. There is no other way. There is just no other way. And this is where I invite people to say, okay, it's time to do something different. It's time to do something um, for something bigger than yourself. For example, yes, it's gonna be a publicity for me. I don't care. Thank you for the space for that, by the way.
This is the purpose, right? I mean, we need to
Yes.
promote,
One of the
helping you to
things
promote you and your business too, right? We have to do that, right? Everyone need to survive.
exactly. So basically, the way that I the way that I work with my business is I understand that there's a lot of people that needs training. There's a lot, especially here in Mexico. We
Yeah.
understand that the biggest business partner that we have is the United States.
Mm,
They are not gonna learn Spanish.
They're not gonna learn Spanish.
No, but not because they don't like it. Technically speaking, Spanish is one of the toughest languages to learn,
Yeah.
and they said it in all the world. Why? Well, maybe I don't feel that because I speak Spanish since I was born. So
Yeah.
well, I'm a native.
Yeah.
But English, everybody speaks English. I mean, you and I are speaking English, and we're not in the United States, right? I mean, you're in Singapore. I'm in Mexico. There's no Spanish.
I
I'm sorry.
mean,
There's no English. Sorry
yeah,
for that.
a good part of 140 million people in Mexico, I think they need to tune into your school. I mean, like 140 million people, maybe Miguel, you just need to catch like 1% of the 140 million people to be your student.
I have to. Believe me, I would be rich, but that's not the point. It's not,
Yeah,
I honestly, I gotta be very honest with you. I don't want to be rich. Honestly, I don't want to be rich. I just want to have something that is something that I create.
sustainable.
Exactly. Something sustainable, something that I do with all my heart,
And for
something that
your
I
children. Yeah,
for the people, for children. I have a
yeah,
couple of groups that are only for teenagers and kids,
yeah,
and I want them to have fun, and they have fun with us. And I
yeah,
want my students to have fun. I want my students to say, hey, guess what? We really like it here because not because we're learning English, we're having fun.
yeah.
Sometimes we use the classes to let the stress out because work sometimes is a real pain in the ass. Okay, very good. You know what? Come here and let it out. Let it out. It's like, for example, what I did. I came here to your show and I let it out. And I'm sorry for that.
No, no, no. I mean, that's the point because when you do that, and that you're doing it for the viewers, right? I mean, the thing is that the viewers are like you and I. We've got all this frustration that's crushed. I mean, I can tell you, Miguel, I have got my own frustration when I look at the pile of dishes that I have to wash, and then I have to like clean up the floor again. I mean, these are some of the things that I set myself the expectations. I got to do it this way, and I got to do it extra because of the situation. I mean, it gets into my brain sometimes. It gets into me sometimes.
Yeah,
So
I know.
sometimes I feel like I really need to get it out. But that's the purpose of the show, isn't it, Miguel? We are doing this because it is ordinary people like you and I. We're ordinary people, right? I mean, ordinary
We're
people like you and
people.
I. We don't have like a big villa or big house in a mountain top with a luxurious home with a swimming pool up in a mountain, and then with acres and acres of forest and land that have like kept us safe from the pandemic. I mean, I'm talking about rich people, right? They are kept safe because they're out there in the mountains, their homes, and then they've got forests and they've got lands, and they're out there. I mean, these are the people we're talking about that have kept themselves safe because they are able to, because they segregate themselves with the people,
You
right?
should see
But
it here in
the
Mexico.
rest of us, we are the people. We are the people. We are the people who are fighting it at that real level,
Exactly.
and therefore we have frustration, we have anxieties, we have a lot of fears here and there, and anger, um, everything mixed together in a pot. Like you just mix it up in a pot, and sometimes you just kind of explode and spill.
Sometimes
This
that's
is
what
the
happens.
purpose of the show, isn't it, Miguel? I mean,
Of
we are
course.
just
Yes, of
voicing
course.
out, from Singapore to Mexico. We are voicing out the same thing. Can you imagine the rest of the world?
I'm pretty sure about something. I'm pretty sure about something. They feel exactly the same. I am
Yeah,
pretty sure about it. Yes, we have. You know what? That's the best part of it. I love it. I have watched every single one of the shows.
I know, and I thank you so much.
And you know what? What is the best part is that I feel, okay, there's a bunch of different perspectives. I love listening to different perspectives. Believe me that I do, because it makes me feel that I'm learning a lot. You know, I'm learning from other points of view. I'm
Yes.
learning from other
Yeah,
perspectives.
that's why it keeps us strong, because we come together, we talk about it from different perspectives, and giving each of us the positive energy, whatever is it, we let it out, but yet we encourage each other. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Kudos
And
to
you know what?
you. And I do know that you're watching all of these shows, and I salute you. I totally do. Have I improved on my shows, Miguel?
Yes. Oh my God. Let me tell you. Hey, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. So
Thank
you're
you.
gonna have me watching and listening to everything. So that's why I said, hey, you better put on my video.
Yes, it's gonna come in 2021. And
Guys.
yeah, okay, Miguel, I've taken you 56 minutes. You've got another 4 minutes. Would you like to wrap this up for us? And you can throw me a couple of questions if you want to find out about
I want to
what's
actually, I
happening in
actually want
this
to ask you
part.
something. I want to ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't ask me how
what
much
is
money
it?
I got in the bank.
No, don't worry. I believe it's. I understand. I can promise you one thing. It has to be a little bit more than I do.
No, the thing is that I'm gonna tell I've got a lot of money in heaven. No, don't you that's for sure. I've got lots of
Well, that's a
wealth
good
in
thing.
heaven waiting for me.
Well, let's say it's well invested.
Okay, what's your question for me?
Ask you something about real quick. Normally, what do you speak to the people out there? I mean, because
In
okay,
Singapore.
I'm telling you about my personal experience. Whenever you have the chance to talk to a neighbor or whatever, but what about you? This
Okay,
is something that I want to know. What is the Singapore people saying
talk
about this?
about. Okay, I like that. And after this, you think about challenging questions. I always like to take challenges. Um, and to answer you, total honesty, me and my friends, when we text each other or talk, we never talked about the pandemic. No, it's a no. We don't talk about the pandemic, maybe for various reasons that we've spoken out in the shows, that because it's so much in our face, right? We look at the numbers, we look at the maps, we look at the graphs, and it's going up, and the whole world is raging. So people don't talk about it in Singapore. On a second note, people don't talk about it because I think in Singapore, we are already trying to get into a new normal life. People are going out to the shops. People are going to the restaurants. People are celebrating the festive season with restrictions, of course, and people are going back to the schools. The numbers are like almost zero in the community, and also because there's restrictions from people coming in. There are people coming in back to the country for good because they need, after 1 year of being quarantined, the borders shut down, and starting to come back to work or to live or to just come back home to Singapore. I mean, they are tested positive, but within the community, I can say that the numbers are like 1 or 2 or 0, like today is 0. So now these are undetected cases. So I guess a lot of part is double-edged sword. People are not talking about it because people are trying to avoid it to keep their minds normal, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to. You can't live in that level of tension at all times. People are going crazy at one time. On the second hand, people are really trying so hard to get back to the normal life, going shopping, buying dresses, buying food. They are trying so hard to get back to normalcy. And the third thing is that I think because the numbers have kept down, there's no need to really talk about it.
There's hope.
Yeah, there's hope. And I think on the other side, of course, you can say on the academic side, you can say that there's complacency setting it, which is always a risk. People are becoming complacent. People are like closing their doors and having parties inside, and having the karaoke's. So this is also another part whereby you can't control. There will be uncontrollable factors. There will be, like what you say, a pockets of people when they think that the police isn't watching, they don't care, right?
Yeah.
there's another group of people, I mean, like myself, hopefully I can say for safe, and I hope that more people can join me, that, even when the police isn't watching, God is watching. It is watching your every step. Are you being responsible? Are you being responsible for your neighbor? Are you being responsible with your actions? So I would think that a large part of Singaporeans are trying very hard to get back to normal with the restrictions in place, having the mask, social distancing, and going into the precautions. But we don't really talk a lot about this. And the thing is that I can tell you, with my friends on a WhatsApp or giving a call, usually we don't already for many, 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 many months. So we
Yeah.
try to avoid that talk. And therefore, I think if Miguel, we talked about review some of these interviews that you have watched, I think there is a similar symptom amongst all these countries, whether in Mexico, Singapore, Malaysia,
Yeah.
America, even with
There's
Ben
something similar,
Kitchens,
right?
etc. People are not talking about the pandemic among their friends or their neighbors, unless something happens, like what you say, something happens, you know what, something happens. But in general, people don't take it as a topic over coffee, trans.
Well,
Yeah. So I think because it's so getting into the brain, and therefore I would like to say that, Miguel, therefore our show is important. People want to listen. What are other people in other countries talking about? Like in Mexico, what is the Singaporeans talking about? And I'm curious. I'm in Singapore. I'm curious what Mexicans are talking about. You see, therefore, our
yeah.
show is so important because people want to get into the new normal. Is the world going the pace that it is? Is it really what the government is saying? What is happening in Africa? What is it happening in America, in Asia, in Mexico, in India, in Pakistan? That's
Yeah.
why we have the whole international panel. They are telling us. And if you watched the show on Friday night with Dr. Ayman from Pakistan, his
Oh, that was
dad
a great
was
show.
tested positive,
I saw
and
that.
it
I
was
saw
so
that.
hard.
I remember that she said, my brother stepped in and said, hey, Dad, it's just a pneumonia, so don't worry about things. Just to put him at ease. Just say, okay, don't worry. We're gonna control
Salute,
this. Don't go
salute
crazy.
to Miguel. I salute you because you are the best, and I'm going to send you an award. I'm going to send you an award. I'm going to send you my book. Give me your address. I'm going to send you my book from Amazon. Okay,
I will do.
yeah, I'm
I'll
going
do
to
it.
send you
I'll
my
do
book
it.
as a gift. That's the only thing I can give right now. But you are right, because somewhere in Pakistan, and they are happening the same thing like somewhere in Mexico, right? Because her dad was tested positive, and when someone in the family is tested positive, the whole family gets into this mode.
Yeah. I mean, what is
And
it? What's going
yeah,
on, right?
yeah. And the thing is that that's what the show provides, a connection with everyone. And can you imagine so much strength has given me that, I'm so blessed right now here in Singapore. And, to have a friend like you, to have Dr. Ayman, and I'm so blessed to have her to share her story, and definitely I'll be praying for her. And there's so much sharing between she and I that we talked about. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, people, a little bit of shout out to you, like thanks, Miguel. People
Thank
must tune into the show because it's going to strengthen you. It's going to give you hope. It's going to tell you that someone out there is going through the same thing. Share and share and share. The show is done for people like us. No, we're not
Exactly.
doing this for nothing. I mean, we
This
are really
cannot
doing this
get.
for nothing, right,
Let me
Miguel?
tell you something. This cannot go any more personal, any more grounded than this. You know, because you said it yourself. We're people at the end of the day, right? We're living people. We're human beings. We're people that is not exactly from high society, rich ass people that believe they can put themselves away from the rest. Let me tell you something. There's a little secret out there. It's not really that far. The
Yeah,
distance is not really that big in Mexico when it comes to
yeah,
people separating themselves.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you know, and you're exactly right. Why are we separated, Miguel and myself? I mean, we're connected. Look,
Yeah.
we are really connected, and we're talking the same language, and we didn't even knew each other for half. We didn't even knew each other. But we became friends in pandemic. Therefore, I mean,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, I just want to highlight again: this show is not done for numbers. We didn't hit this because I want to be an influencer, or Miguel wants to be famous, or he wants to get money from the YouTube. No, we're doing this because we care for the people.
We need
You
to let
know,
it
we
out,
care for
and we
each
need to say
other.
it. And
Yeah,
sometimes there's things we need to say. Period.
exactly. I mean, if I can do something for Miguel, like for example, if he shouted for his business, I'm happy because I feel that my job is worthwhile, that I have helped you in a way that it's really small, right? For your business, for your promotion, for anything, you know how, I mean, I just want to tell
Yeah.
everyone, the guests and the listeners and the viewers, how many hours I spend just doing one flyer just for everyone and for them to promote it, not because it does any form of getting money, fame, or the numbers, or getting recognition, or getting an award. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I mean, by the time we are all, I'm just trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we are now demolished. We are at that level of humanity whereby we are all one. I mean,
Exactly.
what kind? I think this is the only thing, like Miguel. I would think why we need to share this. I don't think there's anything out there in the world right now that is encouraging people to come onto the show to talk about their life and their stories and what we have gone through during this time in pandemic, because we are one. And you know how many people actually responded to me, and I have to like stop. I got to say a stop to them because I could only focus on these few people like yourself and all these hosts that's coming in. Let us do something right and something good for the viewers and the listeners out there. I got to make a stop to people because I can't handle it. I can't manage. It's all about managing, right? I can't manage it, otherwise my world is gonna crash.
Yes.
But
But you
Miguel,
know
I
what?
just want before you
No, no,
before
thanks
you
you.
go,
Thanks you.
I want to thank you so much. And
Don't
you know
worry.
you are very special. And
Thank
for
you.
you
Thank
to
you
go
really much.
through all these interviews and this show, I salute you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I am from Singapore to Mexico, from the heart, from Singapore to Mexico. So Miguel, let me come back to you now. 2 minutes. Would you like to wrap this up? Because I feel so bad every time you go to 1.5 hours and we're taking so much of your time. Tell
Okay,
us,
this
like
is
in the next 2 minutes, anything for you to wrap up.
we're human beings. We're human beings. We have souls. We're brothers. Honestly, I don't care what religion you believe in because I said it myself. I'm not a religious person. I know about these things, but that's it.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if we can lend each other a hand, we're gonna make it,
Moral
and we're gonna
support.
make it. We're gonna make it. We have to support each other. But the only thing that that I'm gonna say is, let's give each other a hand. Let's give each other a hand the best way we can. Okay, sometimes it's not money, sometimes it's not food. Maybe just a word, maybe just a shoulder. That's it. That's the only thing. All right.
Thank you so much, Miguel. And I think you said it. Giving just a word, just that encouragement to say that, hey, friend, how are you? Just texting, how are you? Are you holding out well? What's happening with your job? What's happening with your family? Are you okay? How's your mental health? Are you taking care of yourself? I mean, these are just things that Miguel, these are just very simple things that shows that someone shows your concern to someone, and it just is a few words. How are you? How are you doing?
Yeah, it's just
How
something
are
very
you
simple,
holding
right?
out?
It's
You
something
know,
very simple. Hey, what's up, man?
what's up? Yes,
How
and you
you
know
doing?
what? And for you, Miguel, to be sharing your life, your stories, and about the situation in Mexico so honestly, and your thoughts and your honesty from me, not even about the show, but from me in my heart. I really thank you so much, for people who really share a level of honesty and to spend time like what we do, like you spending time with me, right? And
Yeah,
I hope you think that I'm spending time with you too, right?
of course. And that's the
that
best
that
part.
I think this is the connection that we need to show to the world, that you can be connected to someone and that you don't have to be alone. And even if you're alone or locked down, you don't really have to be alone if you can reach out to someone.
Yeah.
Miguel, yeah, because I enjoy your session with you so much, and we're coming to the end of February, right? Next week is the
Oh
last
my
show,
God.
and all
Yes,
the
you're right.
guests, as I've said, is such a huge commitment. And the guests, as I've said, they can either choose as a replay one of their favorite shows, or they can come on live again. And I'm giving this to you. But Miguel, I just want you to know that I enjoy so much, and of course, hopefully, you come back live with me. We have another chit chat session. We have
We will.
another live session that we can say, hey, how are you?
Hey, we will. Definitely. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Miguel, do you have a final question for me before you go? Is there anything that you want to know about Singapore? Because you've shared
Well,
so much.
yes, actually, there's one thing. If I ever have the chance to go there, are you gonna give me a chance to just visit you at there? Because my daughter wants to go there. I talk
If
about
you
her.
do, if I'm still in Singapore, right? Because I haven't told people I'm actually stuck here. I'm actually stuck here because I'm supposed to be in France. That's why this podcast is called Podcast from France and Singapore. So, I hope that
Little detail.
definitely if I'm here and the vaccination goes on, you're tested negative, and at my door you tell me, Vicky, look at my
Guess who's
passport.
talking?
I've got my PCR test, 3 tests negative, and I've got my 2 dosage of approved vaccination.
Damn, it's gonna take a
I
while.
will welcome you, me and my husband, with open arms.
Nice.
Mexico, you be right here in Singapore once the pandemic is over. When we go
Nice.
back to some form of a normalcy, I mean, I can't believe you, Miguel. We have talked for so many months, right? And we are
Yeah.
into like our 6th session or our 7th session.
I
We
don't.
have grown to.
I lost track of the number. Honestly, I just don't remember how many are there. It's just that it's been so much fun that honestly, you're.
I
It's
think
not
it's
like you're
almost like
counting
the 7th or the 8th episode. So
something like.
I can actually like put this in one channel. Is like the Miguel and Vicky in my YouTube channel. Like, who wants to watch Miguel and Vicky? They will just click all our shows. Because we give so much energy to the people, and I've got feedback that we are such good collaborators because we've got
Yeah.
such good similar vibes. And I want you to know that Singapore is one of the most freest, liberal, open country. Liberal as in terms of transaction of people coming in
Yeah.
and out, and we have got so much respect for diversity and differences, and so much respect for just people, and there's a level of just accepting who you are, and people don't really care who you are, I should say.
Yes.
You know why? Because people don't really care, because they've got the food, they've got a job, they've got a family, they've got the money problem. Who cares who you are? Who cares your color? Who cares your language? I mean, I would think it this way. There's no time to care about what kind of color or your language or your religion. I think, people are really the same at the end. They are struggling. They're
Definitely. I
struggling with
guess
their own
that's it.
family, their own money problems, putting food on the table, business decisions, job decisions, quarrels with their families, their sisters and mothers and fathers. And
It is. It is.
yeah, I mean, isn't
Definitely.
this the same? We're really talking about life here, right? I mean, people are the same all over the world. We face the same problems, like money issues, relationship issues, health issues, right? Struggling with decisions, jobs, houses, paying your mortgage, paying your lights, right? Paying your electricity
Yeah.
bill, getting that business up, getting that job up.
Let's put it up together, people. We can do it.
Yeah.
And
Thank
we're
you
gonna
so much,
do it.
Miguel.
Hell yeah. No, thanks to you, Vicky. It's always a pleasure to come here to your show. Always a pleasure.
I really enjoy having you. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, the prolonged pandemic, we are coming to a close. There has been such an opening, but you know, next week is going to be Miguel's finale, swan song. It's going to be a bit of time before we come on to shows like this again, because this is only for the February special dedicated to the people. Definitely, it is very meaningful. We can replay again and again. But for another live show to be done on almost every day, I don't think anybody has done it. I mean, for me, I'm taking it as a challenge, but I'm taking it in my stride. I think it's something that keeps me sane. It keeps me thinking that I'm doing something right. It keeps me going. I enjoy the creative process. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, you will never see another show like this in Asia for a long time. So please tune in, ladies and gentlemen. Miguel Flores of Mexico City, professor of English of Plus Education. Please sign up to his school. If you're tuning in from Mexico,
We're
Central
gonna have a big
America,
reception for you.
South America, you've got like how many in total?
People
300.
from the US as well. People from
Yeah,
all the
people from the
continents, all the world.
yeah, then you're talking about like 500 million people from that area.
There's a lot of people here.
So the
There's a
next
lot
time
of people. There's a
so the
lot of
next,
Latin
yeah,
people.
the next time I
All
tune
right.
in to Miguel, I want to hear you say like, you know, I've expanded school A, school B, school C, school D. I've got like 100 teachers below me, and we are like having like 1,000, 2,000 students, and that's the way to go, Miguel.
Hopefully we will grow. Hopefully we're on the I guess we're on the right track right now. We need to go slow and steady. We don't want to go crazy, but I believe we're on the right path.
The celebrity teacher, the celebrity professor. Thank you so much, Miguel, for tuning in and for darling and spending time with us here in Singapore. Once again, I want to applaud him. It's you. I'm just telling you, thank you is not enough. From the
No.
bottom of my heart, thank you, and for this wonderful connection that we have. It's not enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give Miguel Flores a round of big applause. And like what
Yeah.
Donald Trump says, huge. He is huge.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it, madam. I really do. Believe me that I do.
Yeah, right. Don't
Oh my
forget,
goodness.
next week, tune in to Miguel Flores here, 9 p.m. prime time Singapore, 8 a.m. America Eastern Standard Time, and in Mexico, Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. there.
Bye.
Bye. All the best, and please stay safe. Friends in pandemic.
Please. Bye bye.
Bye.